will increase both inventory management and sales and profitability. Are we recording lost sales in every market part buy for your OEM brand? Wally, what does that mean?
Any part you buy for your brand, Kia, Hyundai, whatever, anytime you buy something from Lordco or somebody else, you record a lost sale on your OEM parts. Because as we were talking earlier, a lot of our demand and stocking on this stuff is done by the van. And if I look up an Elantra and look up the brakes and like, oh, I don't have it, I ordered it from Lordco, don't record anything. A month later, I do it again and again and again and again. It's never going to trigger me to order the OE ones because for PBS's point of view, I've never sold it. So every time I look up brake pads for an Elantra and I don't have it, I record a lost sale on the OEM number if I'm buying it from Lordco. Okay, super easy to do with PBS. 2 clicks.
Okay, if you need help, guys, this is going to be a lot. It's okay. You can call Wiley after and he can dummy it down or he can help you or send you an email. So we're going to run through these, right? So are you doing morning huddles with your part staff? So this is where the leadership comes in. I want to just break it down. We all show up to work and we just kind of hope we're going to have a big day. We reported the part sales the previous day. But again, you're having a huddle with your team. Call them all in. Guys, we got some big parts orders with these body shops today. They're coming in at 2. We're going to deliver them out. We got 16 appointments in the sales or in the service department. I talked to the GM and the sales manager. They're doing 8 deliveries today up front. We need to be all on our game here. We're going to get introduced to some salespeople. We're going to have 14 things. We're going to be rolling out that tire thing that we just did. We're going to sell some tires through the drive-through. We got to be really smart on the body shops. And it takes about 2 minutes, but you're the leader. Guys, I wasn't happy yesterday. We ordered a part wrong. That can't happen today. I'm the leader. I don't want to get beat up by John Cott or Wiley. Pay attention. Sometimes the huddle's that. Next time the huddle is, guys, we sold $15,000 in sales yesterday. Whatever it was. That's what a leader does. They do a huddle in the morning, okay? I don't think that's happening in any department, right? And any leadership, is it? Are some of you doing a version of it?
Loosey-goosey.
Loosey-goosey. Okay. Let's not do loosey-goosey, okay? Let's make it count, okay? This is leadership stuff. All right, this one is, are you meeting with the service manager weekly to go over hits and misses, including special order parts before they get to 30 days? Do you have a plan? Are you doing it? Is the GM involved? Is there a scheduled meeting? Or is it like you're married and you and your wife are, how was your day? All way fast. Okay. Okay. Is it a structured meeting? I'm sure there's lots of things that you can talk to with your service manager once a week and schedule some coffee, either off-site or in your office or his office, saying, hey, these are the things that I want to go through with you. These are things I've noticed in my department. How about you? Service manager brings it. You guys are like husband and wife. You haven't figured it out? Service manager and a parts manager are husband and wife. You guys can decide who's the wife. Are you doing one-on-ones with parts staff monthly and making reference through the month? Highlights from your one-on-ones trickle down to all the staff as explanations. Now, going to be key, as I said this before. Okay? A one-on-one without a recap is not a one-on-one. Okay? That is a conversation. A one-on-one is when you've taken some time with an agenda ahead of time. Okay? And it's not a crown for the exam guy, because Brandon said you had to have it done by a certain date. Okay? So then you did about 10 on one day, and they're all fluff. It's a structured meeting about that employee and about that department. There's strategic thinking involved. And there's going to be a challenge and inspiration of how you think that you can get to the next level. It might be, hey, this is what I've noticed really well. You nailed that tire thing. Penticton, Amy, well done. You made me look good. Great job. But here's some things I want us to focus on this. I want you to lead I want you to lead the drive-through parts, or the drive-through tire program we're gonna be putting on. Okay, that would be the one-on-one, stuff like that, we're gonna go through it. Or, the opposite of that is, we sucked on the tire thing with that particular person that did it. I want you to be more aware how you're coming across on the phone. You're talking to people. Customers don't care how busy you are. We're in the service business. We're in the sales business. We're in the customer experience business. You got to be sharp when you answer that phone. So that might be part of the one-on-one, but you're putting it in writing. What happens when we don't put things in writing, Paul?
We don't get done.
What else?
We don't follow up with it.
Okay. Why didn't you put down that he had to be on the road in writing?
So I didn't follow up.
Okay. Now, if I give something to someone in writing, and I'm going to have it scheduled all the time, Scott, like once a month, say for these employees, then what am I going to do? I'm going to pull it out and say, this is what we reviewed last month. And then there's going to be some check marks, and there might be some exits that didn't get executed. Well, how we really got it. He's not going to miss it twice in a row, is he? These are little things, guys. You got to do the one-on-ones. Okay? I think we've really dropped the ball, Wiley, with, I think you're doing a decent one-on-one with managers. Okay? I think you've done a good job. But for the rest of our teams, they're not getting, we owe them more, man. We're not developing them. We're not giving them enough communication. We're not giving them enough feedback on whether they're doing a good job. We're accepting when they don't know how to answer the phone. We're accepting when they're too old. We're just saying, okay, it's like that. Those kids going through the water. Kids go through carts. He's too old. I don't want to worry about him. He's got another 6 months left. So let's just charge through the water for the next 6 months. Get our feet wet every single day. Find some rocks and put them through the water, Scott.
The parts managers actually, and I've said this to all the managers in the room, you guys have the easiest gig, like anybody in the dealership when it comes to doing one-on-ones. Randy literally has 2 employees. Most of the service managers have a dozen between the techs and the detailers and the advisor where you guys have 2, sometimes 4, right? Okay. My name is 2, but very young employees to manage. And then there's that one guy, one desk.
And if you don't, you got lots to talk about. You got what your inventory levels are at. You got what your dormant levels at. You got what your 1 month supply is at. You got your forecast, how your objective is. Then you got to drill down on how they're tracking based on it, how they're doing on your department goals. And then you also bring up wins, challenges, and whatever. And then someone's not good on the phone, you got to keep talking to them. And then guess what? The 3rd or 4th one-on-one that you had with them about the exact same thing, Scott. Next time he grabs the phone, that was like, shit. Scott's been talking to me about this. I gotta be better. Right? That's what one-on-ones do. That's how you develop your staff. Right? Accountability-wise, you're not going to talk to someone that you're not happy with. How do you expect them to get better? So do not do one-on-ones without a recap. It's a waste of everybody's time, including the employee. It has to have a written recap. And it can't be fluff. It has to have lots of structure to it. Make him feel great, whether it was a good meeting or whether it was a bad meeting. At least be professional enough to put lots of details down on that it was an important meeting. They're gonna be like when you first do it. Some of you haven't done it. It's like, hey Scott, if I'm Scott's boss, I'm gonna say, hey Scott, I want to do a one-on-one with you this Friday at 8 o'clock this morning. This is the agenda that I'm going to be setting up with you. We're going to talk about, forecast, inventory. Plus I'm also going to talk about how I think you can develop your position. Please bring anything that you'd like to talk to me about on how we can, better the department, bring some best ideas. So he knows that maybe his ideas are being listened to. It's not a remuneration review. So don't make it seem like it is. Then all of you are going to come back, hey, I did those one-on-ones, but everybody asked for a raise. That's because you set up that. Okay? It's a strategy meeting. and how he can develop in his position. That's what it is. Okay? Are you making sure your special order process is tight and working? So, you know, are they being called? Do the advisors know about them when they get there? You know, we've really put some heat on the service department managers for aged work orders. But you guys are part of the solution, right, on the special orders? Can I go around the room and just ask how we know that the one-on-ones are a fail for everybody, but how are we doing on special order process no concretage? You feel good about it?
Yeah, they're reporting every day,
That lots of them.
and all the advisors get reported, well, as the department's head.
Okay, nice.
Every advisor gets to report 3 times a week that they have to return back to me with jokes on it.
Nice. I like it.
What I've seen so far is working really good.
Okay. Nice. Great job, Brad. James?
Yeah, reports every day for the service advisors.
Good.
And we'll back checker.
Nice. Randy?
Have a weekly report.
Weekly? Okay. Nice.
Notes on air filters and the pipelines and all the trail.
You feel good about it? Okay. Mike?
We get reports 3 days a week.
Okay, nice. That? Okay.
Nice, just like we did a report, ask them, of course, so that we service get, and they contact customer, what customer. 80% of the time, they're pre-booked.
Okay.
Based off of one.
Have any of you had any special order parts where the customer didn't come in and you didn't get paid up front? Does that ever happen? Wiley?
Okay.
Is there any reason that we wouldn't open up Windland right away at 3 special order parts?
The ETIs, one we chase on, those times.
Why wouldn't you just pick a day for
You can calendar it, so it's not a 5 direct to the part there, but yeah.
Okay, next one.
the partner that come in and use Ruby funded back, right?
Next one. Are you doing cycle counts daily and drilling down on any changes? Who isn't doing that? Don't be shy. Okay, James.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that important to you?
Well, I was just starting to do it now, but I've been failed at it in the past. So
Why is it a best practice?
Because we have to catch inventory errors before we need the part. Right? Getting at that.
Okay, Guy, are you doing that every day? Okay. So the guys with the 1% are doing it every day. So if you're at higher than 1% or 2%, probably should start doing it. Okay. I suggest Mike, you do it. Are you doing it?
Yes.
Okay. Randy?
yep, we sure.
Okay. What does this one say?
Yeah.
Are you making sure your daily report is sent in first thing in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. WhatsApp daily update is sent at the end of the 6 days a week, regardless of who's working. This is the big one. I think we missed it at the service manager meeting. Sometimes we're not set up on the Saturdays or the Mondays based on scheduling or whatever, but like, at Victoria, I think there's issues on Saturdays. It's like you and the service manager decide, well, it's my day off. Hope everything runs smooth. That's not only the department. I've been there on a Saturday.
Team.
Cluster. We got to make sure that whether we're there or not, every day that we're open, things are tight. That includes who's sending the report. That includes that parts are being, processed properly. And I think some of you don't have good enough communication with your teams for when you're not there.
You gotta assign a team lead, give them a target for the day, incentivize them. Like yesterday, Con was on, we gave our most senior advisor, we've got the fault that we put on our meetings, we give them a target for the day, and incentivize them and give it the target, just motivated all to do the target. He actually asked at the end of the day, if that's not going to give me a target on Monday. So we did it at our last NCM meeting. And then he went to the parts department, talked about intercompany communications. The K guys are like 1,500 away, like what else can close today? They ended up having $7,500 TP targets, 65, right? We do the same thing on Saturday because we were challenged with shitty Saturdays, right?
Okay. Are you reviewing your no bin and negative on-hand reports weekly? Wiley, want to talk about that?
Good. It's a way of finding the errors before they blow up in your face. Like there's some what I call legitimate negative on hand, where I've ordered a set of tires, I build them out in the work order. I don't have them yet, but I do that on purpose. And when I check the quantity, it says -4. Like, okay, well, I built up the tires, so I know you're 4. It's -4, so I know they're not here yet. That to me is what's the legitimate thing going on. And I use those words with every single one of the parts benefits. The negative on head report is to look at something this is from 3 weeks ago. Why is this still negative on head, right? And the no bid report, Victoria with Josh Wardle there. I mean, that he's old school from you check the no bid report every single day. So you put your shit away and check the no bid report. What is it bid? Oh yeah, there's 9 bids then. Okay, I'll bin it, and you keep it clean. Because if you go to find a part and you check your PPS and there's no bid, guess what, right? So to stay ahead of that, when you're touching the part and you're done receiving everything needs to be bid.
Which GMs don't know what he means by a no bin report? Okay, so what it means is the part does not have a location. Okay? So he's supposed to be printing a report to see if there's any parts that don't have a location.
It's a library book that doesn't tell you what shelf you need.
No location of where it is.
Where it is, the track, like a trackable.
So like, it'd be like you guys, when we do the car audit reports and there's missing cars, that is what theirs is. Okay? Are you going through your open parts invoices at least weekly yourself? Right? More often than not? Okay?
High volume department. The amount of sales kept.
Mike, are you doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
I even write notes of like ETAs on things that back order too.
Yeah. Guys, let's just stop being in the game, man. Knowing what's going on every day. You know what I mean? These are the little things that are going to help you have a real good pulse, right? And some of these reports and stuff for the GMs, sit down with your parts department. Giving you the best practices. You're going to get the deck. You're going to know the words now. Some of you, all you GMs said, I don't know about parts. Well, we're giving you lots of lingo right now. So these are things you can start asking them, right? And so you learn about it. Are you viewing our open cores and audio units at least weekly? No. Kevin, I like your report that you're doing. You had some core issues in the past, and now he's helped driving the results on the core returns. Audio units, what's that mean?
Exchange radios, a lot of times when they're done under warranty, there's no markup. So for the parts department, to a degree service, I mean, it's all risk, no reward. If we don't, like a Kia radio, if we don't send it back within 45 days, there's a $2,500 course. You can't get that. You have this. So as to your point about booking appointments, almost every single exchange radio is in a warehouse that's 48 hours away. Some of your dealers or your suppliers might be slightly different. In the Hyundai, Kia, Chrysler world, it's 48 hours. It's going to arrive by FedEx at 48 hours. You order an exchange radio, you book the guy an appointment 4 or 5 days, and going to be sent. And that way, we don't have to check. Hey, now we can't get a hold of the guy. Oops, he's out of town for a month. And we got to figure out what we're going to do with this board. Because they charge you money to send it back unused. Yeah, they charge you money if you miss it out. Yeah, it's all there is.
Colin, what is a core? You know?
It's a part that needs to get returned so you can get
What kind of work?
Well, I think is it different parts?
What is a core? I'm not putting you on the spot.
Well, I don't like it.
Okay. What is a
I
core,
don't
Riley?
understand what it's for.
The old one, manufactured
Yeah,
one back.
the one you're returning
The
back.
radio, the old caliper, the old starter.
Okay.
They want the old one back.
So they put us pretty good. Right, I wanted the GMs to understand what it was, because I think a lot of them, okay? We have to return these scores. What happens when we don't return them in a certain amount of time?
Still getting money.
Okay. This is how your variant parts varies can be way out of whack. Are you reviewing your VO order stock weekly? Okay? Brent, that's a big one, right?
Yeah, you get that 20% and you're getting a big hefty bill.
Right. This is what happens when you get to 20%.
Your last 6 month purchases, you get charged 20% of the total dollar value of the
See, they can order emergency, right? So what happens is the parts departments can order for fast return, right? But if they do it all that way, then we can get a surcharge and we get fined. Okay? So we want to make sure that our weekly parts orders, okay, we're not just making everything an emergency, because the manufacturers don't like that, they're going to charge us back. Okay?
So
Are you reviewing all bigger body shop returns, restocking fee policy? We talked about that. Okay? Something to be aware about. Morning team huddles we talked about. Review inventory daily. You know where your numbers are at. You know, I just want to let you know my expectation. I should be able to go out to any parts manager and GM on any given day, at any given time of the day, and be able to ask them what your parts inventory is at. That's my expectation, because what did I say at the start of the meeting? It's my cash. It's my cash, and some of it's frozen. So I think you should know how much of my cash you have, and I think you should know how much is aged on any given day and time. Then I would feel more secure with it. Right? Make sense? Enough of that.
On the topics.
Attend advisor workshops. Why would the parts manager be at an advisor workshop? That's a neat idea. Why would I need to do that? I'm in charge of parts. Why should I have to stay an hour and hang out with the advisors? Scott?
Being part of the team,
Okay. And what else?
going through some of the concerns they may have
Okay.
and learning each other's department.
Do advisors sell parts? That's why you're there. They're part of your sales staff. It's not rocket science. Engage in tech meetings. Why would a parts manager be at a tech meeting? That's a crazy thing.
Which said,
Scott? Brent?
cats are special people.
Yeah, sure.
You want to listen to their gripes and bitches, and 9 times out of 10, you can share it right there on the spot.
We want them thinking, we want the techs thinking you care. We want the techs thinking that you're trying to make their jobs easier. Right? That's why we want to be there.
Remember that number earlier about 80% of your income comes over the back parts counter? Guess who generates that income? The back parts on the back parts counter don't do anything unless a tech puts a wrench to them.
But the important thing to do. Where's my mic? There's something.
Yeah. Focus on missed opportunities. Riley, what did you mean by that?
Well, I think that one on there, but
Thanks.
anytime, well, I guess it would be like that tire quote where it's like, you know, if I don't hear from you in 2 days, kind of follow up. I think it would be anything like that.
I gotta get better at getting it, though, right? I would just know how to focus on their responsibilities. Like I said, they come and go with that.
It's just something to be aware of per day. Like, how did we do yesterday? Like, well, I have a bad sales day.
Right.
I'm going to have that morning huddle with my team and say, guys, like, what happened yesterday, man? Or the vice versa, that, like, had a big day the other day at Okanagan where it was 21,000 or something. Guys, we're number one yesterday in the group. So let's be focused. We got to catch up. This is where we are percent objective. Okay. I said it to the service managers the other day. You know, one bad day, that's a one-off. Second bad day, you got my attention. Third day's a trend.
Without it.
Don't let bad trends keep going. Don't be the guy that's gonna keep walking on water, walking through the water, getting his shoes dirty every day. Do something about it. Change something. Well, these huddles are you're allowed to. She said at the start, a good manager and leader is going to be able to be adaptable. It's going to be able to pivot. Well, you got to change sometimes. You got to do different things, right? This advisor rollout would be a prime example of that, right? So, how many wiper blades are we selling? How many wipers are we wiper blades are we selling through the drive-through? Right? Do we even have? Is that even something we look at? Right?
Who was going to spit fire there, Tom?
There's all kinds of things we can do sometimes on missed opportunities, right? That's where the strategic thinking comes in.